gonna get it live. Facebook, we in here. We in here, Facebook. What's good? There's so much I could begin to say, but yeah, we gonna wait for a couple people to jump on. Hope y'all's, Tuesday is going good. This is the Morning Sun Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, TJ Two Braids. This is episode 15. I'm going to hit play on the audio. We already getting some feedback because I got it up too high. So I just hit play on the audio. This is episode 15 of the podcast. It just works better if I hold the microphone. So yeah, this is the Morning Sun Podcast. I'm your host, TJ Two Braids. We 15 episodes in. Appreciate all the feedback, the comments, the messages. If you like the podcast, do me a favor again. Share it, like it. Go listen to it on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor FM, whatever, Listen to it in the car on your commute to work. Listen to it while you're working out. Whatever you're doing. Appreciate y'all, man, for the support. I don't do this just to do it, but I feel like I got a unique opinion and I can give people whatever wisdom I have. And by no means am I the wisest person you'll ever meet, but I've been through a great deal in life. Anyways, this is episode 15. We working on something big. We trying to set up a debate that would be live on the podcast between two friends of mine, which hopefully will work out. But this is brought to you by Anchor FM, a free app. If you ever want to start your own podcast, it's real easy to do. Anchor FM is a free app. Go download it, mess with it. They'll distribute your podcast for you, whatnot. But we're going to jump right into the Morning Sun Podcast. Again, I'm your host, TJ Two Braids. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. If you need to know how to find the podcast on YouTube, Instagram, wherever, let me know. But the first segment we're going to get into is Save Not Soft. Right? So this is a segment we've been doing in regards to what it means. Now, you don't have to be a Christian to relate to Save Not Soft, but it might help. As a Christian man, I feel like many times because I'm a Christian, people think that I gotta be soft, right? And so we combating that stereotype and that mindset. And today, which is interesting about the segment, is we're gonna actually talk about what it means to be saved, not soft, with other Christians. So a lot of times these segments have to do with interacting with non-Christians, right? Someone of a different worldview, some of a different belief. But today we're going to focus on what it means when you have conflict, difference of opinion, or when other Christians or Christian groups try to make you be someone else. So the topic is, how do you be you, right? How do you stay genuine? How do you keep it 100 with yourself instead of conforming and compromising, specifically in American Christianity? So if you were to Google American Christianity, if I was to ask you what American Christianity looks like, give me one image. Like, yo, homie, when you think of American Christianity, what comes to your mind? You probably have some type of idea, and it's probably not a good representation of the whole scope of American Christianity. But specifically today, we're going to talk about how not to conform or compromise who you are, how to be you within that. And so as a person who's triracial, right? I'm Native, I'm white, I'm Mexican. Y'all can see me, right? Y'all can see I got the long hair, I got the braids. You can see that. You can see that my attire, right? You can see that I got a snapback on. You can see that if I were to show you my shoes, right? I got the Kobe's on. So y'all can see that, right? I got Kobe's on. So y'all see that, but at the same time, you know, American Christianity might try to make you look a certain way. You know, they might make you say you got to wear a suit to church. You got to wear dress clothes. You can't come into church looking hood. Bro, this is me, bro. On any given Sunday, you can catch me dressed just how I'm dressed, with a snapback, Nike tee, Nike sweats, some Kobe 11s on, right? On any given Sunday. Or you might find me in a dress shirt. You might find me with a dress shirt and a tie. You might find me with a ribbon shirt on. But that all goes back to I am who I am, and I'm not going to conform or compromise who I am to make someone else happy. Y'all see the braids, right? So one time I'm preaching in the state of Washington. This is before I settled down and did a lot of my work that I'm doing now within the Minneapolis community, back when I traveled around America a lot and got, paid for different speaking engagements, preaching, teaching, concerts, whatever. I go preach at this church in Washington, right? And I think I did a pretty good job. Thought it was a good sermon. And usually when I preach, I usually do altar calls. So if you don't know what an altar call is, just basically at the end of the sermon, I pray. Let's close in prayer, right? God, if God is speaking to you at any time during this message, come up here. I'd like to pray for you, right? So if I'm talking about depression or anxiety or sin or self-image or whatever the topic was, right? You give altar call, people come up, you pray for them, and whatever need they have, you agree with them that maybe God would work on their behalf. So I do that. The first guy to come up to the altar call, right? He's like, great sermon. I just want to let you know one thing. And I'm thinking, okay, well, thank you. And, what's on your mind? This boy says, you should not wear your hair like that as a preacher of the gospel. Now, in my mind and in my emotions, there was a lot going on after that comment. But I just said, oh, well, thanks for your opinion, your advice. Hope you enjoyed the service. Thanks for having me. Shook his hand. God bless you. Right? I'm like, yo, but I leave that and I'm like, yo, all this dude probably could think about during my whole message was, I don't agree with the fact that he has long braids. And not only do I not agree with that, but when he gives an altar call, so now mind you, I gave an altar call. An altar call is a time for you to come forward and receive prayer and agreement with whoever's praying for you on a specific matter in prayer. It's not a time for feedback, right? It's not the post-game interview after the sermon. So not only did you not agree with my hairstyle, but during altar call, which could be considered a sacred, a holy, a personal time, you come up there and instead of receiving prayer or asking to receive prayer, you criticize my hairstyle because you don't agree with it. Now, I could have said, hey, dude, you know what? You're dumb. I could have said something worse, right? I could have gotten to a debate with him theologically, a lot of things. But what I said, and this is based solely upon my mentors and people who have taught me life lessons, I learned to walk the other way and say, thank you for your input. God bless you, right? There was a part of me who wanted to just slap that dude, right? There's a part of me who wanted to say, just, bro, I should just give you the hands, man. You know what I mean? Or go into some debate or criticize him back. But the reality is his mind was made up. I probably will never see that dude again after that, right? Which I haven't. Never seen him again. Don't remember his name. Will never see him again. his mind's made up. What's the point of arguing with them? What's the point of ridiculing him, insulting him, whatever? There's no point. So, but I share that story with you guys because American Christianity can try to make you conform to an image that's not you, right? And many times I've seen this from people. They get saved, right? They come from the hood, or they come from drug addiction, or they come from a different culture or race that's opposite of typical white American Christianity. And then they become a whole different person. They cut their hair, they cut their braids, they cut their dreads. They get all clean cut like they're joining the military. And then next thing you know, all they do is wear suits and ties and read version of the Bible. Which, look, there ain't nothing wrong with that, right? If that's you, you got a new life, you all about that, that's fine. But the culture of American Christianity should not make you or try to force you to be that if that's not who you are and who you want to be. Now, I love my church because as a pastor on staff, I can come in there dressed like this. And at least, not that I know of, there's nobody in there who's like, yo, why this dude come in with a snapback, some Nikes on, and some sweatpants, as if somehow that makes me less holy, right? But there's been other churches I've been in where I did the same thing. Like, look, I'm not here to offend you, right? I'm in with the mindset, I'm going to wear this outfit to offend you. But at the same time, I'm going to wear whatever I want. And that doesn't just go for church. That goes for anything. Right? I'll go to work like this. I'll go to a business event. If I don't feel like putting on a suit and tie, I'm not going to put a suit and tie on. I'm going to wear my braids this way. I am going to wear sneakers because that's what I like to wear. I'm not going to become someone I'm not. Right? Now, here's the other thing, though. I'm educated. I got a bachelor's degree. When I graduated from college, I was on the dean's list for like 3 or 4 semesters in a row. So not only did I graduate, but I received honors and I got scholarships because of my education, because of my grades. I think I graduated with like a 3.3 or something, which by no means is perfect, but from a dude from the hood who did drugs for 10, 11 years straight and then went to college, you know, not too shabby, right? But I'm an educated person, so I know how to read very well. I know how to write very well. I know how to write essays, papers. I'm actually hoping to write a few books before my lifetime ends. I know how to speak eloquently. I know how to use big words. Not only do I know how to use big words, but I know what those big words actually mean. And yet at the same time, I still use slang, right? I still use hood lingo. I still am a part of the and I came from because that's just simply who I am. And I think it's a blessing because I can maneuver in various avenues and lanes that some people can't, right? So I can put on business casual and go speak eloquently to a business owner, an entrepreneur, a board member. And I can also go into the hood where I'm at all the eloquently to some business owner. Or I could throw on, you know, my Jordan 8s, a snapback, and a jersey, go in the hood and chop it up with one of the homies. Right? The Bible speaks to this. It says that Paul became all things to all men in order that he should save some. And I'm hoping that people that listen to this actually get the point of that, right? I know what it means to be a scholar, and I know what it means to be a dude from the hood. And on any given day, you might find me as either or. But I'm not going to compromise who I am. I'm not going to change who I am. That same thing goes with the music I make. I've had people tell me, I love your music. I've never had anyone say I hate your music. No one's ever gone that far, at least to verbally tell me that. But I've had people tell me I dislike your music. I've had people tell me this music shouldn't be in church. God can't use hip hop. And I'm like, you're limiting God. It's crazy to me. that something could come out of your mouth so ignorant that God can't use hip hop. God can use whatever avenue he wants. God even uses evil to accomplish his will. So for someone to say God can't use hip hop, to me is an absurd statement. But again, it goes back to this typical American Christianity culture that will try to make you be someone, right? They want to clean you up. It's just like when you join the military. You got to cut your hair. You got to dress a certain way. You got to talk a certain way. You have to fit the mold. And yet God made us all beautifully unique and different. There's a reason there's different cultures in the world. There's a reason there's different races, different skin tones, foods, different attire, different living circumstances, different languages. God made us all unique. We don't have to be someone else to just make people happy. All right, so I have no problem being who I am. And again, I'm not going into these places trying to offend someone. I'm not going in these places trying to stir people up. But at the same time, I'm not going to shy away from who I am. I am who I am. I look the way I look. I don't really care if you agree with it or not. That's the problem that many of us get into in this life. We care what people think. And there's a quote that goes around on the internet. It makes its rounds every few weeks or months. It's a meme with Will Smith, and he says something along the lines of, we do things and we buy things to impress people that we don't even like. And that's the reality. We're out here buying things. We're out here acting a certain way. We're out here talking a certain way just to impress people that when we go home and at the end of the day, we don't even like, or it doesn't even matter. So again, I'm not out here trying to go around tell people, I don't care what you think about me. But at the same time, I mean, that's really the way I live my life. If you agree with me, cool. If you disagree with me, that's fine. I'm out here in my own lane, living my own life, living to my God-given talent, abilities, living every day as if I can leave a legacy, as if you never know, tomorrow's not promised. And that's all I can do. I don't have time to worry about fitting a cookie cutter image, or if someone likes my hairstyle, or if I speak at a church one time, right? I went to speak at a church one time. I was a guest speaker from out of state. It was a different state. I can't remember the state I was in, right? I'm the main preacher for this event. And people tried to convert me in the lobby because of the way I look. Now, maybe I came in here like this. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I walked in, had my Timberwolves hat on, Nike Fit, Kobe 11s, right? Braids. And they thought, you know what? This dude from the hood, man, we need to save this boy. Let's witness to him. They came up, they started sharing. I could identify it. It was like their evangelism practice. And, you know, they had their little memorized outline, and they were walking me through what it means to know God and what's the gospel and how do I know I'm saved and repent of my sins. You know what I did? I sat there and listened. I could have said, yo, man, shut up. I'm already saved. I could have said, yo, man, don't you realize I'm the preacher here? I could have said, how dare you judge me? Because you don't even know me, right? Because we're judging a book by its cover. And so instead I listened to him. I said, oh, well, yep, wow. That's, you know, went along with it. Afterwards, they said, can I pray for you? Sure, you can pray for me. Sure. Pray for you. God, blah, 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 blah. Then after worship's over, the pastor says, I want to welcome our guest preacher, T.J. Veltier. I go up to the stage. Little did they know, right? Little did they know I got a biblical degree. Little did they know I studied theology. Little did they know I put hours of sermon prep into that message I was about to share with the whole congregation. No, I didn't fit the Christian Americanized cookie cutter image that they liked and valued, and so they thought I was a lost soul they needed to convert. So I share all that with y'all, man, just to say you can be saved, but you ain't got to be soft, right? You can be who you are, and as long as you're living a godly lifestyle, as long as you are living a true worship lifestyle to God in your speech, in your conduct, in the way you spend your money, in how you raise your family, and how you treat your lady, how you whatever. It's all good, man. You don't have to look like me. I don't have to look like you. And thank you that God didn't make us robots, right? So yeah, man, this is the first segment of the Morning Sun Podcast, episode 15. I'm your host, TJ Two Braids. I kind of got a little passionate in that segment, but it's true, man. I know for the rest of my life, people me a certain way. They'll judge me. They'll think I'm someone I'm not, or they'll think whatever it is, and it is what it is. I can't change anyone's opinion about me. God has to deal with their heart. So it is what it is. This is the first segment, and now we finna get into spiritual life hacks. So when you think of a life hack, and this segment is brought to you by Holiday Gas Stations, because they got the best fountain soda, right? Hey, shout out to all the people who know about fountain soda. Fountain soda just simply hits different than bottled soda. Fountain soda hits different than canned soda. If you know what I mean, shout out to you. And shout out to Holiday. I'm drinking their product, but they ain't paying me for it. You think of life hacks. A life hack is meant to make life simpler, life more easy, life more convenient. And so today I actually have two. I only had one life hack, but for us today I have two spiritual life hacks. And the first one I'm going to talk about came off of a conversation I simply just got done with. And it's the concept of living life in gratitude. I just got off the phone with my brother, Danny V. He's about to turn 39 years old tomorrow. So he's in prison. Y'all know the story. If you do, if you don't, I'm not going to go into it. But my brother is in prison. And he's about to turn 39. It's his birthday tomorrow. Shout out to him. If you want to send him some money through JPay, hit me up. I can, he'd be blessed. Even $10 goes a long way. But he's like, yo, I'm 39. I never thought I'd make it to this age in life, right? When I was a youngster growing up, I never thought I would actually get to this place. And I'm like, I'm 32 and I feel the same way. And so we have this conversation about how we didn't think we would make it this far in life. And there's probably people who told us or also didn't think we'd make it this far in life. Some of our peers were not lucky enough to make it this far. And it makes you put life into perspective and be grateful, right? And so I hear my brother's voice. He's in prison doing life. He could be grouchy. He could be depressed. He could be hateful. But instead, he's in high spirits. And many of the times when you talk to him, he uplifts you more so than you uplift him. And that's just a testament to his character, his nature, who he is. He's like, yo, I'm good though, I don't really need nothing. I was like, I'm going to send you some money for your birthday. He's like, I appreciate that, I don't really need nothing, but it helps, He's like, I got a job in here, so I get to be out of my cell a lot. He's like, I'm in school. I'm taking Bible classes. I'm playing in a basketball league. And, he's happy and he has joy. How does a person who's doing life in prison have joy? How is he upbeat? How is he focused and accomplishing things? And so you think about that, and it's like crazy to me. But you only get that place by being grateful, right? So we're grateful to be alive. He's grateful to be alive even though he's in prison. I'm grateful to be alive. There's many things I could complain about. The people I lost, the struggles I've gone through, the things I'm currently going through. All of these things, but I'm just grateful, right? The Bible says, Paul says, I've had much, right? And I've had little, and yet I live the same way, grateful. I'm grateful with the roof over my head. Do I think my rent is kind of high? Yeah, I do. I think I overpay for rent, but I'm grateful that I have the ability to do so. I'm grateful I have a house over my head. I'm grateful that I had the ability to move within a mile or two of work and church and family and friends. I'm grateful that I have two vehicles. I'm grateful that when on Thanksgiving, when both my vehicles got towed, which low-key I'm still salty about, your boy comes out of the house getting ready to go to Thanksgiving dinner, haven't eaten all day. Both my cars gone. I'm grateful I had the money in my bank account to get both my vehicles out of the impound lot. I'm grateful that I have clothes. I'm grateful that I have food in the fridge. I'm grateful that I just went to a local mercado and I'm about to make fajitas and tamales for my life group tonight. Right? I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I have 2 kids who sometimes might drive me to the brink of insanity. Right? I'm grateful for marriage. Even though marriage isn't always easy, even though you have disputes, even though you have differences of opinions, right? Marriage is also a blessing. You have joyful times, you have date nights, you watch each other raise your kids together, right? I'm grateful. Grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for my church. I'm grateful I have a job. Grateful that I have multiple jobs. Grateful that I just got a raise last week. One of the ways to enjoy life, one of the ways to find true joy, true peace, true happiness is to live with a grateful mindset. There's plenty to complain about. There's plenty to harp about. There's plenty to not like in this world. But every day you and I wake up and we choose what mindset and attitude we're going to have. Am I going to have a grateful attitude? Or am I going to have a destructive attitude? Am I going to have a peaceful attitude or an attitude of chaos? Am I going to have joy or despair, right? And so I challenge you with that the same way I challenge myself every day. And am I perfect? No. Do I mess up? More times than not. But the reality is we have to live with a grateful mindset in order to find true joy, peace, and contentment. So that's the first spiritual life hack. The second spiritual life hack is simply reading the Bible. I don't know what you believe about Jesus, church, Christianity, but I would challenge your belief on that, even if you oppose it, right? People see me, they see me with my preaching videos, my music, teaching, even this podcast. People see it, they tag me in the videos of the dude, Mike Servin, who's breakdancing for the Lord Jesus Christ, right? And people tag me in all these things, and they know I'm a Christian. And the reality is this: there was a time in my life where I hated Christians. I hated Christianity. I hated God. I hated the Bible. I hated church. So even if you were at a place like that in your life, I would challenge you to read the Bible for yourself and find out what it says. If all you know about God of the Bible and Jesus is what people have told you, or is what has been portrayed through the media, because there's a lot of moronic Christians out there. They got signs they walk around with that say, I hate gays, or I hate immigrants, or I don't like people of color, or they might be racist, or whatever it is. Those are people in every culture, black, white, native, Mexican, Asian, whatever. You'll find people who are dumb, moronic, racist, ignorant, have a lot of problems. In every religion, Christianity, spirituality, Buddhism, Muslim, Islam, you'll find the same people. People who say things they shouldn't, do things they shouldn't, act in a moronic way. If you and I are honest, there are times in our own life where we've been complete morons, right? And excuse my language, I'm just keeping it real with y'all. If you really think about your life, there's times where you have done some really probably idiotic things, and I can say the same thing about my life. But if all you know about the Bible and Jesus is what someone else told you or what you saw in the media, then you don't know anything about it. You know just simply small fragments. So I would challenge you to read the Bible. And I would challenge you to find out who Jesus is. I share this concept with people all the time. They're like, why? What does Jesus know about my life? I say, first of all, you know Jesus ain't white. Jesus is not the dude that you saw in the church at Sunday school when you was 8 years old. White dude with long hair and a beard. That's not him. It's just simply biblical, right? You look at the geography of where Jesus was born and where he grew up, and then you take that picture, those two do not match, right? Jesus was dark skinned, darker than me. Jesus at one time was homeless. The Bible says the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. Jesus came from a place, they said, yo, does anything good come from Nazareth? Where Jesus came from, Jesus of Nazareth. In the Bible, there is a statement. It says, does anything good come from Nazareth? Question mark. Basically saying, yo, Nazareth, that's the hood. That's the ghetto. That's the place where you don't go at night. That's the place where you lock your doors when you at a stoplight. That's the place you don't walk around in without being strapped or whatever. I'm just paraphrasing and keeping it real. Does anything good come from there? That's the place where Jesus came from. Jesus was abused. Jesus was neglected. Jesus was betrayed by everyone that said they loved him. Those are just to name a few things about him. I'm like, did you know that about Jesus? Did you know Jesus was a tribal man? Did you know Jesus wasn't, that's not even his name. That's the English translation. Did you know the Bible wasn't written in English? People are like, what? Yo, for real? Yes, for real. But because you haven't read the Bible for yourself, you would never know these things. Because you haven't studied theology and biblical history, you would not know these things. Did you know Jesus was a tribal man? He came from the tribe of Judah. I could say I'm from the Ojibwe tribe. I'm from Red Lake, right? Did you know Jesus was a tribal man from the tribe of Judah? Did you know that his real name was Yeshua? Some things to think about. You would not know this if you didn't really study the Bible, though. So now I'm going to talk about the deeper concept of reading the Bible, studying the Bible. It's one thing to read the Bible. It's another thing to study the Bible. Begin to study the original languages, Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic. Get a commentary. Get devotionals. And so there's two resources that I would give you, especially if you're an iPhone user. Now you can look at this up on the internet, but if you have the iPhone specifically, you can get the Blue Letter Bible app. Or if you don't have it, you can go on a computer and just type in Blue Letter Bible. Blue Letter Bible has biblical resources in it that could help change the way you read the Bible. So it has multiple translations. It has commentaries built into the app. If you don't know what a commentary is, it's just basically theologians. If you don't know what a theologian is someone who has studied God and the Bible and has a deeper knowledge and wisdom and understanding that they can then relay to other people. So commentaries are written by theologians, and it's their take and their opinion, and a lot of it is their work and study of what they found of the Bible, including the original languages. So you let's say you're reading Daniel. You're going to read Daniel chapter 1. And in the Blue Letter Bible, you can read Daniel chapter 1, verse 1 through 10. And then in the Blue Letter Bible app, you can go on the commentary. You could click on Matthew Henry's commentary, for instance. It's just an example. Matthew Henry will have a whole writing about those verses and what they mean and what it's talking about. You can click on the my mind's blanking. You can click on the concordance, or you can click on the I think it's concordance. It'll begin to show you the original language that those verses were written in, and you can break it down even further. It'll show you what each of those words mean in their original language. And then you can begin to study the Bible and read it in a way that you've never known. That's the first resource, the Blue Letter Bible app. Blue Letter Bible app. It's amazing. I use it all the time. The second resource I would give you is just a daily devotional. What a daily devotional is, if you don't know, is it'll give you like a few passages of the Bible, a few verses. You read it. There's like a theme. So maybe it's about overcoming fear, and then there'll be a chapter and verse in the Bible where it talks about overcoming fear, and then the devotional will just be someone adding on what that passage means and then their thoughts on it. And many times devotionals have like a prayer at the end that you can pray for your daily life. But one of the best devotionals I've seen is called Sparkling Gems. It's by Rick Renner. Rick, R-I-C-K, Renner, R-E-N-N-E-R. And there's actually a second edition, which I read all the time. It's called Sparkling Gems 2. But it's a really dope devotional. He breaks down, a lot of his devotionals are in the New Testament of the Bible, and he breaks them down, the Greek language, what it means, and what it meant for that time when it was written and things. Is awesome resource. So the two resources I'm giving you are the Blue Letter Bible app and then Sparkling Gems by Rick Renner, which is a daily devotional book. So yeah, man, that's spiritual life hacks. Live a grateful life. Live with a grateful mindset. Secondly, read the Bible, whether it's to just understand who Jesus was, who God of the Bible is, what the Bible means, or whether it's to grow in your actual Christian faith that you're already devoted to. Yeah, man. So that's the second segment. This is the Morning Sun Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, TJ Two Braids. Usually I don't do a lot of these in the daytime because I know people are at work. So I can see a decline in viewers and comments based upon normal podcasts, but hopefully when you get off work, you watch this. Feel free to comment. I'll check back and we can dialogue even. But yeah, man, this is the Morning Sun Podcast. I'm your host, TJ Two Braids. And we finna get into the last segment, which is, it doesn't really have a name, but it's just a concept of how we make mistakes in life, but we hate when other people make them. So I know all y'all seen what Donald Trump said when the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl, right? He wanted to thank the great state of Kansas and what they did for the great state of Kansas. Yet the Kansas City Chiefs play in Missouri. And so everyone is roasting the dude, right? And rightfully so. I mean, how do you mess that up? I don't know. But basically, everyone's roasting Donald Trump. They say he's the dumbest president, whatever, People love to rip him. But pretty much every president we've had has said moronic things or things they shouldn't have said or mistakes they've made, right? So I remember watching Obama. He gave a speech and he said something along the lines of, I don't remember the exact quote, but he says, I'm grateful for my Muslim faith. I'm grateful for my Christian faith. Boy, how do you mix up those two, right? In the same way, Donald Trump did not know that Kansas City was in Missouri. This dude mixes up Christianity and Islam. Yeah, okay. Same thing goes for celebrities, athletes, rappers. We see these things and we are so quick to judge them. We're so quick to laugh at them, right? I saw a video one time on Facebook. Someone was walking down the hill in the wintertime to a bus stop, and then they slipped and fell. And then about a couple of minutes later, so another person comes walking down, slips and falls. A minute later, another boom, 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 boom. Pretty soon it's like 5, 6, 7 people all walk down the same little hill on the sidewalk and they fall. That's a great example of exactly what I'm talking about. We slip and fall, right? And we make that mistake, or we're in danger of making that mistake, but we don't want to talk about it when it happens to us. And don't laugh at us. And don't upload that video, right? Or there's going to be a problem. But then other people do it, and then we're laughing. And then we're on Facebook watching it. And then we're sharing it. And then we're saying, this person's the idiot. Look at him. Dumb. Don't know how to walk on the ice. Probably lived in Minnesota your whole life. Can't even walk on ice. Isn't it funny how we are so quick to laugh at and judge other people's mistakes, oftentimes, that we're in the very danger of making ourselves. And again, when I talk about things on my podcast, it's not me talking about what everyone else listening does. It's a lot of times what I do too. So in my lifetime, am I guilty of laughing at or judging other people's mistakes that I've made myself or that I'm in danger of making? You betcha. But it's an interesting concept to think about, how quickly we want to judge, bash, and laugh at someone who does something dumb or makes a mistake. And oftentimes we've made that same mistake, or we have made even worse mistakes. So I find that interesting. Why do we do that? If anyone's watching, you can feel free to comment why you think we do that. But why are we so quick to laugh at and judge other people's mistakes, but then we make our own, or oftentimes we make worse ones? And then we don't like when someone laughs at or judges us for that mistake. I find it interesting. Maybe it's a challenge even. Maybe we need to do better. Maybe we need to have more compassion, more empathy, more grace. You know, the Bible talks about how we judge people. The standard that we judge people by is the same standard God is going to apply to the way that He judges us. Now, if we're to live with that in mind and in reality, it should make us change the way we think, we view, and we act towards people, how we judge people, and in specifically this context, how we judge their mistakes. So yeah, that's the last segment. This is the Morning Sun Podcast. Again, I'm your host, TJ Two Braids. I appreciate y'all kicking it with me. If you enjoy the podcast, please share it on your page. Follow us on Instagram at the Morning Sun Podcast. Follow us on YouTube at TJ-Two Braids. Braids with a Z and the number 2. And yeah, man, I hope y'all been enjoying it. Again, we're working on setting up a live debate. Hopefully we can make that happen. I hope y'all enjoy your Tuesday. I hope y'all live grateful. Thanks for rocking with me, man. Peace.